everybody. I'm so glad to once again give a short presentation on for the post learner and learning process. In this today we are going to talk about the social, cultural and economic context that causes difference in learner. Does socio-cultural factors influence learning? Yes, of course it influences. So what is first we'll discuss about what culture is all about, then we'll go on to the next one. What is a culture? Culture is a social construct, not a genetic, and most students have at least three influencing factors related to culture. One is the home, the next one is the peer group, and the third one is the school. So one can define or describe culture as a shared way of living of group of people. So it is used to encompass commonly experienced aspects of groups' lives such as shared knowledge, backgrounds, values, beliefs, forms of expression and behavior that may impact classroom interactions. This means that the cultural practices that we engage in as we move across everyday, school and professional contexts both shape and constitute our learning. However, this can be a complicated concept as home and school cultures may be very different in many cases. Example, in home, one might experience freedom while in school he or she feels rigidity or less freedom. This change if one finds it difficult to adjust will result in problem for a child like fear for attending schools and later on reflect as lack of interest in studies. In another case, if parents are in well-to-do business family, their children at times do not find interest in studies but show interest in getting involved in father's business. So what we understand from this, the home culture influences the learner. The other thing is there are a lot of chances where the home culture and this culture in school might be different, and this causes problems in the child to adjust as well as to learn. And if the home culture and the school culture are positive or in phase, this can have a positive impact on child's learning, as mentioned by Bishop. So as we all are aware, learning is nothing but a relative permanent change in behavior. Piaget advocates cognitive constructivism. Vygotsky advocates social constructivism. So he talks about more knowledgeable others, zone proximal development, all these things. Bondura talks about role modeling and environmental influence. So behavior can be modified or changed. It has to be reinforced, and this reinforcement is socially and culturally backed upon, then learning or transfer becomes relatively easier. Example, I'll just explain this with an example. Achievement scores. Imagine achievement test. We all are writing exams, no? Even now we are going to write soon. You want to score more than your friends. Why? See, this is a social factor. No? Even though you are not personally interested in getting first place or first mark, the social factor drives you crazy in getting high scores. You want to check whether my mark is better than the other person or my friends. You want to compare. This is purely a social factor. This eventually at times forces you to copy, that is malpractice, or seek relaxation which is beyond ethical principles. But the real purpose of a test is to know your ability, to understand your knowledge. We are totally bypassing all these things just because we want something called marks. No, this is purely a social factor. This is how the society or the social factor influences the learning. Now talking about the social cultural context, how these contexts can influence, I have just highlighted 3 points. I'm just going to quote you 3 or 4 points here. Social in this aspect, so how society or social and cultural aspects strongly influence individuals' learning. This is very important to know. Why? Because unless you know the child, you know the child's background, or you know the society's needs, it is difficult to teach to them. It is difficult to convince them. It is difficult to make them understand why it is important and why it is necessary. So if anything is within their culture, it is easy to follow or grab it or accept it. So let me put out just away with these 4 points. First one is society and culture teaches learners what and how to think. No, our thinking is based on our social norms. Our thinking is governed by our culture. So what we think and how we think is both shaped upon by our society. Now you have hospitality. This hospitality is based on your culture, and the culture has taught you to receive guests, to welcome people from outside to see your beautiful Kashmir. So it is part of your culture, right? You talk about the dressing. This is one famous example which I often quote. Branded clothes which you are so much crazy for. Cultural stereotypes. You see the students between an M.Ed and an MBA. I always used to compare, observe them. The dress code which they have. So there is this MBA is coming from mostly from Srinagar belt, and this M.Ed and B.Ed are coming from throughout the Kashmir. So their social influence is completely different. Their cultural background is completely different from a cultural or a background coming of a student who's preferring MBA. This is not strict, hard and fast, just for an example. So rural background students and urban background students differ significantly in their thinking because they have been trained to think like that. Even in my case, in your case, father is the head of the family. Men go to work. Women should only cook food in house. This I experienced recently in my home. When I went to wash my vessels, my mother objected, saying, "You are not supposed to wash vessels when I am here." So this is closely observed by my son and daughter. They are seeing why my father is not supposed to wash. My mother is saying, as a man, you are not supposed to go to kitchen and do this work. Your wife or me will do it. So this is not a rule. This is a cultural setup. This is a socio-cultural setup that we have created. So some cultures have lot of freedom while some are restricted. The Western cultures give lot of freedom, but in the subcontinent we have lot of restrictions because of cultural as well as religious perspectives. So this culture teaches us to learn, what to learn and how to think. So the second point is knowledge taught in formal education is socio-culturally determined. Whatever you are learning in school has been accepted or validated by the society. In my example, mostly girls opt for M.Ed, B.Ed courses, nursing, which is also a socio-cultural factor. And men go for engineering, IT, journalism, police department. All these things are taught in our formal system of education, like respecting elders, helping. All these factors influence our learning. You think about, I was just thinking the other day, like when I was studying, we used to have huge cultural festivals in our colleges and universities. We used to have 10-day sports meets, 5 or 6 days cultural events. There were a lot of influence when many people used to come and participate in that. There will be a lot of training, practice. But this is absent in your culture. So culture, the knowledge taught, what we are learning is strongly determined by the socio-cultural factors. The third point which I am going to highlight here is the need to learn is also socio-culturally determined. Why we should learn, why we should go to school, this is also being influenced by the society. See, in women's education, girl education, this is also quite common. Girls, after some age, they stop their education. They give more preference for men to study but less preference for girls. Why? The reason being attributed to, if the girl gets a good degree or high degree, it is difficult to get a bridegroom for her. So this is a socio-cultural problem. The Western culture doesn't have this problem because they don't feel the degree or marks makes any difference. But in Indian culture, we have men should be a little higher than a woman. So this is who has made this system. It is the society, it is the culture. So because of that, we stop educating the girl, and we educate the boy. So what we learn is also decided by the culture. This is very common in under and developing countries. Men are superior. To what extent one studies, father decides. For girls, this is very common for girls. What you study, to what extent you have to study, father only decides that based on all the things. So the next point is culture also influences about how learning should occur. Social cultural factors influence how learning should occur. In parents, especially fathers, elders, religious preachers, teachers are respected highly in our society, not in the West, right? So questioning them is not allowed, and it is considered as disrespect or viewed as unacceptable behavior. If your father says something and if you object to it, this is considered as an acceptable behavior, not accepted behavior. So culture also influences how learning should take. You should observe, you should accept what the teacher says. You should immediately submit to what your religious teacher says. So accepting elders' view, submission to authority are all socio-culturally determined, right? So that's why in Indian subcontinent the questioning ability is less, and because of that the growth of science and technology is relatively less. But in the Western society this is higher because culturally they are allowed to question. So these are some of the factors which I wanted to highlight in the socio-cultural context that influences the learner. The next part is economic factors. As you are aware, economic factors always influence the learner. Economic factors strongly influences learning. Maslow in his theory of motivation already says very clearly that basic needs have to be satisfied for a person to organism to reach for higher order needs. So for basic needs to be satisfied like food, clothing and shelter, we need finance, right? So if that's why we have the system of uniform midday meal systems are all introduced in school. So economic factors definitely and most certainly going to influence your learning. When a family is financially strong, schooling, the friend circle, etc., everything changes, and influence or acceptance of Western culture is quite evident. If you're financially strong, your style, your nature of behavior, your contacts, everything will be at a higher level in terms of economic aspects. So you are more prone to West, right? Family with economic stability instill greater valuation of self. It gives a lot of confidence for the person who has a good dress, who has a good suit, he can do things, who has a lot of financial money powers, who can spend, so it gives great valuation of health and hence self-confidence, greater autonomy, even arrogance, independence are exhibited mostly in their characteristics. This affect in their learning behavior and even culture. In modern world, rich and affluent have the ability to question and break traditions by evolving new culture. Their communication abilities in English, dressing, behavior, spending money, purchasing power, course selection, choice, etc. are completely different and mostly different from traditional views. This can be seen in our university where traditional values are seen among B.Ed or M.Ed students while art students are totally different. Money power buys comfort and hence basic needs identified by Maslow are well satisfied, which in turn affects learning. One research says that parents who faces economic stress, this has an influence on child's emotional and social health. So economic factors influence our thinking, reasoning and behavior. So on the whole, social and economic factor influences the learning, and teacher has to be aware of these which look like passive factors but have a dominant influence on the learner and learning. Hope it was useful. Thank you. My love.